Hello and welcome to Dev's Stating Opinions. My name is Dev, and this is my channel where I state opinions. Get it? Because devastating, but there's no A, it's just Dev. Anyway, on this channel I'm going to be giving my opinions on many things, mostly movies though. But for my first video on this channel, I thought I would talk about something that is not a movie, but is music. I'm going to talk about M83's Fantasy. M83 is an electronic music project spearheaded by Anthony Gonzalez and has released some pretty amazing albums, many of which are some of my personal favorites of all time. The album Hurry Up We're Dreaming, which came out in 2011, definitely got me into their music, but once I started listening to the rest of their discography, I pretty much fell in love with them, and now they're one of my favorite music artists of all time. So I might be a little biased when I say that this new album, Fantasy, is fucking sweet. I've been super excited to hear a new M83 album since it's been 4 years since the last one, and you could argue that it's been over a decade since M83's last great album. While I'm not in love with Junk, I still do like a lot of songs off of it, and I do really enjoy Digital Shades Volume 2. But there was an M83 itch that those two albums weren't necessarily scratching for me, and I was excited to see that this album was going to push more into a newer and more interesting direction. M83's Fantasy is a very unique album for them. While this does have similar elements to their other albums, this is a very unique experience overall, and it's truly M83 in every way. The entire experience from front to back is honestly fantastic. It's very streamlined. I don't think there's a single moment where I wasn't fully engaged. There's not a single bad song on this entire album. This album is ethereal, it's beautiful, it's melancholic, it's cheesy at times, but you know, that's M83 for you. And it's not like the cheesiness takes away from the experience, it honestly enhances it and makes it feel like it has a lot more personality. The best M83 albums embrace the cheesiness and utilize it to make the beautiful sounds that they're creating just that much more impactful. And this is yet another example of that working very well. I have some slight issues with the mixing. They're not really big issues, but there are a couple of moments on the album where I do kind of wish certain things were louder in the mix, specifically the drums on a lot of songs, including Ocean's Niagara, or the saxophone on the song Laura. I do feel like it's a little bit buried in the mix, but those are only very, very slight issues that I have. The structure of this album is very well done. It's never boring, it's very well paced, and the entire experience reminds me what I love so much about albums like Before the Dawn Heals Us, Saturdays Equals Youth, and Hurry Up We're Dreaming. I am going to talk about every single one of these songs individually, but before I do, I would at least like to mention the album cover is certainly a thing. I actually don't hate it. I know a lot of M83 fans do, but I'm not that against it. I think it adds a lot of personality, and I do think it fits well with the themes of the album. I mean, I like it more than the Junk album cover. But without further ado, let's dive into Fantasy. So the album starts off with Water Deep, which is an absolutely beautiful intro. It is the gateway into this experience, and it's an absolutely perfect introduction. This song leads into Ocean's Niagara, which was the first single of the album, and this song has become one of my favorite M83 singles to date. This song rules. It's a slow build, and when M83 does a slow build, they always do it well. All the synths sound beautiful, especially that one part where it's like and the climax of the song absolutely brings me to tears every single time I listen to it now. Next we have Amnesia, which is absolutely one of the catchiest songs on the album. It's quirky, it's fun, I love a lot of the lyrics. The chorus is orgasmic. I honestly don't really have much else to say about this song. It's just a really fun, exciting M83 song. What else is there to say about it? It's just great. This leads us into Us and the Rest, which is definitely the most Hurry Up We're Dreaming-esque song on the album, but it definitely still stands on its own. It is an absolutely beautiful and powerful song. Anthony's vocals are lovely, they fit the tone so well. The chorus is beautiful, and the slow, beautiful build to the amazing wall of sound at the end is epic. This entire ending is definitely one of the most insane sounding moments on the album, and I love it to death. And then we have Earth to Sea, which is going to go down as one of M83's best songs to date. I love how happy the song sounds, and yet it also feels a bit melancholic. The beat is groovy and catchy and awesome. I love that Synths. I'm sorry. After the second chorus, there's that slow build to the finale, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. Overall, you want to know how I feel about this song? Look, everyone's going to make the joke. It's a great lyric. It's one of the best moments in M83's entire discography. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then we have Radar Earth Gone, which will probably be one of the most underappreciated songs on this album. It's a more stripped back song, so that might make it a little bit less memorable, but in my opinion, it is an absolutely necessary song on this album. It's an amazing cool down with lovely vocals and a beautiful instrumental. I also love a lot of the lyrics here. Honestly, when it comes to M83 albums, I don't necessarily interpret the lyrics too literally, but considering this album's themes of kind of self-reflection, trying to create your own path in the muddiness of the world. There's the lyric, "You don't have to show your face, we only look inside." It's almost like he's comforting himself in this absolutely crazy, terrifying world. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it a little too much, but when it comes to M83 albums, they're more about the feeling than anything, and the feeling this song creates is immaculate. Then we shift from chapter 1 to supposedly chapter 2, as the first 6 songs of this album were originally released as an EP, for some reason, but the song Deceiver pretty much stands as the midpoint of the album, and it is a perfect midpoint. The song is basically a slow build-up / soundscape, and it sounds so amazing. I love all of the subtle details. I love the African drums. I love what the synths are doing. It's honestly just an amazing vibe. And then when the vocals do finally come in at the end, it feels so perfect and satisfying. I think this is a fantastic midpoint to the album, which brilliantly kicks us off into the second half of the album. We have the title track, Fantasy, which if M83 was to release a second single for this album, this should absolutely be it. This song is super catchy. The bass line is excellent. It is an incredibly fitting title track. It captures the vibe of the album pretty well. Vocals, the synths, the drums, everything works together so well. I love how unapologetic the vocals and the chorus are. There's some elements to the instrumental that kind of feel like a Depeche Mode song at parts. Fantastic title track. Fantastic track. Okay. Laura has an immaculate instrumental. The synth line at the beginning kind of reminds me a little bit of Steve McQueen, but what the song turns into is very unique. I love the verses of the song especially. They're really nice. Once the song builds into the climax, it's absolutely wonderful. The saxophone that plays during this outro is godly. Although, like I did say at the beginning, the sax in the mix is a little drowned out, but it's not a huge issue because it still sounds amazing. Overall, fantastic song, beautiful, I love it to death. Then we have Sunny Boy, which is a personal favorite of mine on this album. And to be honest, the entire final leg of this album, starting with this song, is maybe my favorite part of the entire album. The intro is great, and it actually kind of sounds a little Dead Cities-esque, but then it breaks into this amazing beat, and it is epic. I love the beat, I love the vocals, I love the chorus. Driving at night to this song is going to be incredible, and once again, M83 is doing an amazing job closing these songs out. These songs all have amazing climaxes, and this is one of the best. Can we just make it last? Then we get Kool Nuit, which is Cool Night in French, in case you didn't know. I love this song. This is one of my favorite M83 songs ever. When I first listened to the song, I could not believe what I was hearing. I loved it. Mostly just because of how incredibly consistent this album has been, and then we get this insane curveball of a song that still fits with the vibe of the album so well. It is easily the most experimental song on this album, and it kind of feels reminiscent of Colors a little bit, but much more sinister. Kayla Sinclair's vocals at the beginning are great, and they kind of lull you into this beautiful state where you don't expect what's going to happen in the second half of the song. But once the song shifts into its second half, it is absolutely incredible. The build on this song is insane. It sounds nightmarish. All of the subtle details in the mix are fantastic. Those little drums, those weird little It all works so well. And then there's these weird, absolutely insane synths going on that sound like a horror movie. When the vocals come in, they're intimidating, they're weird, they're creepy. It works very well in contrast to Sonny Boy, which is one of the more upbeat songs on this album. And this is very much one of the more intense, in the words of Anthony Gonzalez himself. I fucking love it. This song definitely sets the stage for the finale of the album, and transitions beautifully into Sonny Boy Part 2, which, considering this song is after Kool Nuit and not after Sonny Boy, makes me think that Sonny Boy, Kool Nuit, and this song are kind of like a three-part story. The entire last 4 songs of this album work really well as an entire finale. There's not much to say about this song other than it sounds great, and it is a fantastic bridge into the final song, Dismemberment Bureau. I don't know exactly what M83 is trying to dismember in this song, but my heart is certainly being dismembered by how incredibly emotionally powerful this song is. This honestly might be one of my favorite M83 album closers to date, if not my favorite. Lower Your Eyelids and Outro are the only songs that are competing with it. This song has one of the best instrumentals on the album by far. It creates an absolutely beautiful emotional experience that are topped off so well with the verse vocals. I will say the chorus vocals were definitely a hard sell for me at first, but they definitely have grown on me quite a lot. And then the ending to this song, the last 3 minutes or so, is truly one of the best moments in M83's entire discography. Every single time I listen to it, I have been near tears. And the first time I listened to it, I was in tears. It's such a perfect sounding finale. The wall of sound at the end is incredible, and it made me so happy that another amazing M83 album was in existence. When it comes to the themes and the story of this album, I'm not entirely sure I fully understand it. One of the things that I love about M83's albums is that I can use them to create my own visual experiences in my head while listening to them. I love being able to put on an M83 album and just be absorbed in that world, even if I'm not entirely understanding every single detail. The experience you get is just something that can't be replicated. Considering some of the interviews I've seen from Anthony about this album, there are definitely some themes of struggling with who you are. Again, I don't necessarily have an answer, but when it comes to M83, I don't know if there needs to be an answer. It's about the journey. The journey of every M83 album is so cathartic and beautiful and mesmerizing, devastating at times, and absolutely catchy as fuck. The feelings you get when listening to an M83 album are honestly beyond words. And maybe I'm sounding a little pretentious here, but I don't fucking care. This is my video. The channel is called Devastating Opinions, and in my opinion, this album fucking slaps. And honestly, I am just so excited that M83 still has this fire inside of him, and that he can still make albums this powerful, this impressive, this ethereal. The album may not be perfect. Maybe there could have been a couple of tweaks, but this is easily one of M83's most consistent albums. It is one of their most engaging albums, and I would not be surprised if years down the road I am looking back at this album as one of their absolute best. So yeah, that's my opinion, man. I would highly recommend checking out this album, and if you really like it, then I would definitely check out M83's other albums. I am so excited to see them live in concert in Nashville in April. I will probably cry my eyes out, and I will love every second of it. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, I'm mostly going to be using this channel to talk about movies because that's what I really love, but I will probably talk about albums that I love, or video games, or TV shows. It's devastating opinions. It's not limited to just movies. But if there is anything else you would like me to talk about, or you want to recommend to me in any form of media, please put it in the comment section. I'm going to be talking about movies real soon on this channel. I might talk about John Wick 4 or the B movie or something, I don't know. But stay tuned, and if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like or comment or subscribe if you want. This has been Devastating Opinions. My name is Dev, and I will see you all later.